Hello everyone, Andrew Collishaw, naturopath and homeopath. Welcome to your Body Talk newsletter for this week. I hope you're well and I hope you've been looking after your health in one way or another. Now, even if it's been a difficult couple of weeks for you, perhaps you've been struggling with an illness, trying to deal with some emotional issues, these things can tend to bring us down, can't they? And we tend to lose focus. But let me encourage you, just as much as you can, pay attention to those things that you know are going to help to nourish and nurture you and to promote your health and well-being. Because when we're not feeling 100%, that's especially when we need to be doing these things. Okay, and one thing that you can be doing is looking at blood sugar glucose levels. This can have a huge impact on the way we feel, but also physiologically, and it can have a big impact on our health, definitely, as well. And there's a whole big craze at the moment, isn't there, for low carb foods, and I want to talk a little bit about how to optimize your carbohydrate intake so that you get optimal energy. But not only that, you need to be able to make sure that you're preventing damaging effects from various sorts of hormones and chemicals in the body that result from not eating properly in terms of sugar foods and carbohydrates. There are two main categories. There's the glycemic index, which will tell you how quickly sugar will be absorbed into the bloodstream. And the other one is the glycemic load, which tends to be more helpful for us, and that will tell you about the effects on the blood sugar levels. Okay, more specifically what it does to the blood sugar levels. Okay, so in the text I've got a little checklist for you to go through. Ask yourself these questions. Are you tired throughout the day or in the afternoon? Do you feel like you need to have a sleep? Do you have a bit of a sweet tooth? Do you crave sugars? And do you need your morning coffee or morning cigarette? All of these things can indicate that there are problems that you're having with your carbohydrate metabolism. So have a look through that checklist, won't you? Okay. Now, what determines the up and down effect of the glucose in the bloodstream are a few things. It's determined by the quality of the carbohydrates that you're eating, and the way that that food is processed. That can have a bearing, whether it's been refined or not refined. The amount of carbohydrates that are absorbed into the bloodstream can be influenced by whether or not there is protein present as well, and also the amount of fibre that's present. So these are some of the factors that will affect how much you get this up and down effect of blood sugar. Okay, so I hope you all understand that when you eat something sweet, your blood sugar goes up, and then insulin is secreted, and then that brings the blood sugar down. But we don't want it to dip right down low, and we don't want the blood sugar to go up too high. So we need it to be more even. And when it isn't even, that's when we run into a whole lot of problems, weight gain, damage to blood vessel walls, other really terrible things that can be easily avoided with a little bit of knowledge. Okay, so with the protein, what happens is when you combine protein with your carbohydrates, you get a better response from the hormones insulin and glucagon, which come into the bloodstream and help to balance the blood sugar levels. So when you eat carbohydrates with your protein, that's going to be better for your energy levels and your blood sugar levels. So having some fish with wholemeal rice, some cheese with wholemeal crackers, and the best example of protein and carbohydrates combined are your legumes and beans and lentils, that sort of thing. And that will elicit the best sort of blood glucose response. Okay, so you need to be combining these foods. I just want to mention to you a little bit about coffee, because obviously it's very common, and for those of you that know me, you'll know that I do enjoy having a cup of coffee now and then. However, I might just say that for the last 4 months, I've hardly had any at all. So I do practice what I preach, and I think it's important to have periods of time, long periods of time, where you're not taking these sorts of stimulants. Anyway, when you drink coffee, what it does is that it desensitizes the body to its own natural uplifting hormones. And so what this means is that dopamine and insulin are going to have less effect in the body, because they're the natural high generating chemicals in the body that give us a lift. The adrenaline and the dopamine are two. And when you drink coffee, what happens is that it causes the body to become less affected by those things. So you get less of a high from the natural body chemicals. And this means that we look for those highs, those emotional highs, those energy highs, through stimulants, coffee and smoking, or through sugary foods, which will give you that artificial oomph and that artificial lift. Okay, whereas we should really be getting that from the natural chemicals in our body. So coffee will have a big influence on that, so just be aware of that. Okay, so that's just one of the other reasons why it's important to have minimal or no coffee as well, and how that coffee will actually interfere with the blood glucose level and the up and down levels in the blood. Okay, so it's a bit of a complicated issue. I hope I've highlighted for you the main keys. Have a read of what I've got written there, and that will help to explain things in a little bit more detail for you. But take the time, eat carefully, and think about what you're combining your carbohydrates with, okay? And trying to avoid the up and down of the blood sugar levels, and you can do that a lot by being very careful with your eating. All right? Okay, well, look forward to speaking with you soon, and I hope you have a great fortnight, and we'll talk to you in a couple of weeks. Okay, bye for now.